What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Simon here from Getting to Crypto, and what a crazy week it's been for crypto. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. We've had the collapse of the second largest exchange in the space, FTX, and obviously the knock-on effect of this and how this looks like it's going to spread some contagion around other cryptocurrency exchanges. We've got crypto.com in a bit of trouble with a sort of mini bank run going on their site. We've also got things like BlockFly now coming out and announcing that they're insolvent too. So look, it's a difficult time. It's a very dark time for cryptocurrency, and a lot of questions have to be raised right now. Can cryptocurrency even recover from this? And they're all valid points. I mean, our industry is largely based on trust, and I can only relate this to when I first got involved in cryptocurrency. It was actually back in right at the start of 2018, not the best time to get involved, if I'm completely honest with you, because for the first whole year that I was investing in cryptocurrency, all I knew was down, and further down. So look, if you have got into cryptocurrency over the last year, I can tell you right now, I can relate. I've been in your shoes. Just keep going. Do not give up. Keep going. If you believe in this, then you don't want to be that person that sold after the end of a huge down move to then watch it go on and do much bigger and better things in the next 2 to 3 years time. So yeah, just deep breath, step back, and just pull it together, and you'll get through it. And that's exactly what I did. But just sort of talking about, yeah, my experience. I mean, I remember, obviously I got involved in 2018, but before then I actually heard about cryptocurrency back in 2015. And this was around about the time that Mt. Gox, or slightly after Mt. Gox had actually collapsed back in 2014, I believe. And that had caused the market to completely tumble. And I remember doing a bit of research because somebody at work said to me, look into this. Cryptocurrencies is likely to be the future. I own some. You might want to look at owning some. And I had a look. I went online. I ended up Googling Bitcoin and doing the things that most people new to the space do. And I found out, about this hack, and then, wallets got hacked and people lost their funds and lost their money. And I was like, whoa. There's no chance I'm buying any of this. Like, I don't want any part of this. So I basically told the guy, look, it's not safe. People lost their money. Oh, and he turned around and said, yeah, but it wasn't actually Bitcoin that got hacked. It was just the exchange got hacked, and it was the exchange systems. And I said, look, I don't really care, to be honest with you. All I know is that people lost a lot of money. I don't want to be involved in a business, in a space, in an industry but is that high risk of actually losing my investment. And I thought, look, if it happened to these people, it could happen to me as well. And it wasn't an investment that I was prepared to take at the time. So I kind of walked away from cryptocurrency back in 2015 myself. And then obviously I went to see the price go from like $200 all the way up to $20,000 by the time I looked at it again in 2017. I think it was up at 4,000 or 5,000. And then, yeah, like the rest is history. Obviously, 20K back down in the bear market, and then sort of back up again. So I think what I'm trying to sort of get at is, look, this is a massive knock to the space. This is without doubt going to put a lot of people off investing in cryptocurrency over the next 1 to 2 years. But the people that are involved know that this is nothing to do with the actual cryptocurrency. This is nothing to do with DeFi. This is nothing to do with the tokens, nothing to do with Bitcoin. This is due to a bad actor in the space. It's people getting greedy. It's people taking shortcuts. It's people trying to sort of get rich quick. And this is nothing to do with actually the technology that powers Bitcoin and that powers these other cryptocurrencies. It's not a flaw of their design. So we kind of need to say, look, this can happen in any investment industry. The fact it's happened in our industry in cryptocurrency is just obviously going to sort of probably put retail off dipping their toes in for a little while. But I have absolutely no doubt about it that this will blow over, as it did in the past with Mt. Gox. It will blow over within a couple of years, and I'm absolutely sure that confidence will come back into this market. So that's really what I wanted to say, just on the whole FTX situation. But we've now got to look forward, and obviously right in front of me, I've got the Bitcoin weekly chart. So we're staring at price that's currently 16,500. And I just really wanted to comment on what we've seen price action wise. It's quite interesting, really, because I drew out this path all the way back in August time, and I thought we were going to come down, probably test the low of the range, come back up, look like we were breaking out this diagonal trend line that we kind of drew in here, which we actually did. So we had a little bit of a breakout / fake out. People started to get excited, myself included. I actually had a time target for Bitcoin to likely put in a low in the first week of November, believe it or not, 2022, purely because that's when we did it in the last cycle. If we just go back to 2018, then we're going to see where did the low come in. I can see where was the breakdown. Let's just have a look. So where was the breakdown? The breakdown was of the sort of huge to 10-year triangle we were in. Breakdown came really sort of the second week of November, or the first full week of November. So yeah, I was looking for something to happen there. Not necessarily a low, but for us to kind of start that final leg lower. And I believe that is exactly what is happening now, albeit with the catalyst of a black swan event. So where we're at right now, I think we could still go lower, and obviously this is lined up fairly well. This path I've drawn in with where I think my target for this move would be, which is down around about sort of 13,500, sort of give or take a bit. So yeah, I'm thinking we can come down to this level here. If we just kind of go back along our charts, we can actually see that was the top back in 2019. So we know there's going to be some support there. We know there's going to be support just under there as well. So personally, that's where I've currently got my orders, or should we say what's left of my orders. So yeah, not financial advice, but that is an area that I'm interested in picking up some more if we do continue to go down. But I mean, I've been saying really since the middle of this year that anything under 20,000 for me is a buy. For me, that is a good price to pick up Bitcoin. I think if you told anybody 1 year ago that we'd have an opportunity to buy Bitcoin under the previous all-time high, under 20,000, a lot of people would have sort of ripped your arm off to get those prices, and here they are. And people are now saying, no, it's going to go lower. It's going to go to 10,000. It's going to go to 9,000, going to go to 5,000. Well, this is your chance, you know. And as people get more and more bearish and start saying it's going to go lower and lower and lower, you've got to think at some point that those people will probably not get what they wish for. I mean, markets rarely give everybody what they wish for, right? So I think there's a very, very good chance of that. And if we look at the volume here, we've actually seen the highest volume come in on Bitcoin in recent history. I mean, this volume sort of like eclipses even the past. Yeah, I mean, this is the Coinbase chart here, but this is the highest volume, weekly volume we've ever seen before on Coinbase. So usually these volume prints are pretty good indicators of reversals. We had one here. COVID. So this is the Elon Musk Tesla no longer accepted Bitcoin tweet. This is the Corona dump. Here we had the high from the 2019 sort of mini bull market, mini run, should we say, mini pump, or pretty big pump actually, from 3K up to 14. And then before that, you're kind of looking back to the high from 2000. 17. So yeah, I mean, the scene is set. I mean, the indicators are there. I mean, if we look at RSI as well, just on a weekly RSI, we were oversold. We've now printed some divergence in terms of weekly RSI. We haven't quite gone as lower. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Bitcoin was to have already bottomed at 15,500 and not look back. But look, you know, being realistic, given the sort of sentiments at the moment and the fear out there, it is, I guess, reasonable to expect there to be more bad news coming out over the next few days and weeks. But you know, that's not a given, and people are going to be, markets are going to bottom at peak fear, just like markets topped at peak euphoria. I mean, everyone was very euphoric here. Everyone was calling 100K and Bitcoin ETFs and wall of institutional money sort of flooding in, and what did we see? We just saw down and down. So, yeah, I think one thing we really need to keep an eye on is the macro picture, and we need to kind of realize that, look, these kind of moves in Bitcoin, I mean, based off the fear we've seen come into the market and the FTX collapse, I mean, you know, that is largely going to be something that this market will get over and recover from. It will take time, but you know, and ultimately Bitcoin's Bitcoin, and in a year's time, Bitcoin is likely to be trading based on where the dollar is, where stocks are, how much confidence is now coming back into risk assets, because it's a risk on asset, right? So obviously looking at the daily here, it's just indecisive right now. But I do think if we take out this level of about, say, 15.8, 15.9 on anything sort of over a 4-hour close, I would expect a continuation to the downside. And like I say, I'm targeting around 13.5. Maybe it gets front run, maybe we sort of go through that spike a bit lower, but that's the level I'm looking to pick some more up. And if we just take a look at the dollar, which is obviously our macro indicator, we can see dollar is breaking down. So this is really bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And it does make you wonder, if FTX hadn't have collapsed and things hadn't have played out this way, where would Bitcoin be? It's pretty reasonable to assume that Bitcoin would have been higher than it was before the FTX news came out. We were hovering around sort of 21,000, weren't we? So yeah, you kind of work that out. We might have got a nice rally up to 25, 30K, but that's obviously not where we are right now. But it does make you think that when this does eventually fully unravel and crypto kind of gets back in line with where it should be in terms of the macro outlook, that Bitcoin could have some nice upside. And by that, I'm saying I would expect it to recover sort of in line with what the rest of the macro markets are doing. So yeah, take from that what you will. But it looks like this dollar probably does have a little bit more downside in it. There's strong support going to be coming in around 105, 104.5. We've got a 200-day NA in there as well. As well as these local lows here. So yeah, I'd expect there to be some sort of bounce in the dollar at some point, which might actually coincide with a final capitulation in cryptocurrency. And I think once we actually see sort of the dollar bounce and then weakness come back into the dollar, so if the dollar was to run up and sort of tag sort of 109 to 110 and then come off again, I think that would be your probably your green light to begin to accumulate crypto. And then if we just look at the Nasdaq and obviously the S&P as well, but these both of these markets have started to catch a bid. Obviously, we've had a number of positive readings of economic data, and I say positive in the sense that this is likely to get us closer towards a Fed pivot. So we obviously had employment sort of come up, coming quite hot. So employment's rising at a rate faster than expected. We've then had inflation data last week come in actually lower than expected. So employment's going up faster than economists are forecasting. Inflation's coming down quicker than the economists are forecasting. So this is all going to put pressure on the Fed to, if not cut interest rates and do a full pivot, at least slower the rate in which they're increasing interest rates. So we've got to keep an eye on the Fed and what they're doing. We've got to still keep a very close eye on the employment numbers. We've got to keep a close eye on the inflation data, and obviously what stocks and the dollar are both doing. But at the moment, you would say that crypto from the macro should have some nice tailwinds. Obviously, we just need to try and sort of see this come through on the Bitcoin price. And yeah, it feels like we might have a little bit lower to go, but yeah, it remains to be seen where we go from here. And I think if we do close below this 13.5, things could get really ugly. But I honestly don't expect us to. I honestly think we're very, very close to the low being in, especially with these volume prints. And for me, if we can get back above this 19,500, that's when I'm going to be sort of calling the worst being over, put it that way. And I think we could see a fairly nice recovery fairly swiftly. I mean, again, with this path that I've drawn on, if we just zoom it out a little, then we can actually see that I'm looking for us to probably consolidate until around about April next year. So probably in for a bit of a sort of bumpy winter, a bit of a tough winter, a bit of consolidation early next year, and then this vertical line I've got in here is actually approximately 1 year away from Bitcoin's next halving. And I do think that the next Bitcoin halving will get front run, as we've just seen it happen time and time before, and it's likely to be a really bullish catalyst. So I do expect really from April next year up until the halving for there to be some sort of bullish tailwinds on the Bitcoin price from people starting to look forward to that halving event. And also I expect that by around about April next year, the Fed should be fully done with its interest rate hikes, and there might be some more talk of pivot. And I do think as soon, if and when inflation does get down and the Fed do start to hint that they're about to go dovish, I do fully expect stocks to make their way back to their all-time highs fairly quickly. I mean, this move can happen fairly quickly. If we just look at when we were last at these prices, obviously this was fully fueled by QE, let's not forget. But if we just kind of go from here up to our all-time high, I mean, 53 bars, that took the best part of a year. So, I mean, can stocks recover within a year to their all-time highs? I think they can. I mean, I don't want to sort of call all-time highs next year in 2023 just yet, but if things do go to plan and we see like a full Fed pivot fairly early next year and we see the dollar come down, then I do think stocks can get back up to all-time highs probably even quicker than they got up the last time we were at these prices. So yeah, let's kind of see how it all plays out. But you know, my real sort of overall gut feel as someone that has now, like I say, been around this market since 2018, survived a full bear bull cycle now, is that things are a lot closer to the bottom, and certainly the risk of not being positioned now for me is greater than the risk of us going significantly lower. So I would be looking to position in over the next few months. I think these are the best times to buy. Certainly we can go a little bit lower, but I think the worst is done. I will be looking to position in fully over the next few months. And really, I think from here, I don't want to say the only way's up, because of course we could come lower still. But I think that things are looking, you know, fairly good in terms of from a 4-year cycle perspective. Bitcoin is behaving more or less as we'd expect it to, based on its 4-year cycle. And certainly, if we look at the last 4-year cycle, we saw a move from 3K up to 69K. I'm not saying we're going to see that same multiple again, but certainly I would be very surprised if Bitcoin doesn't start to turn around early next year and starts to make its way probably in towards the sort of 40 to 50k range by the time of the next halving. And then from there, I think after the halving, we can probably expect Bitcoin to challenge all-time highs, probably sometime in 2024. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Obviously, if you have enjoyed the content, please do support the channel. I really, really appreciate that. So if you can like, subscribe, share the video, that'd be great. I will try and come up with a new video update soon. I don't intend to leave it as long as the last time, but let's keep updated. We're in this together, and yeah, if you are around now, congratulations. If you are watching this, I'm sure you've been through the worst, and yeah, let's get ourselves prepared for success in the next bull run. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.